We are seeing a lot of majorly awesome anime movies coming out these days. It's about time we take a look at the absolute greatest anime films with a seriously overpowered main character. Welcome back to Animeology. We know you've come across countless overpowered main characters lists, so we've got a collection of anime films you probably haven't checked out but definitely should. Number 10. Sword of the Stranger. An absolutely brilliant anime film. We like to recommend series over here, but Sword of the Stranger is so fantastic that we had to make an exception. Following Kotaro, a boy that is hunted by Ming swordsmen, we slowly start to get a glimpse into the interesting and deep world in Sword of the Stranger. Kotaro is hunted for a sinister purpose, and we slowly start to learn the true nature of the men hunting our hero. Kotaro and his dog find a nameless ronin with a violent past that has vowed to never draw his sword ever again. We start seeing an intimate and unique relationship drawn between the tight family unit of Kotaro, his dog, and the ronin, as the unlikely trio overcome insurmountable odds as they desperately push forward in order to survive. The story and plot around them really start to develop and twist into some interesting places, but when the swords come out, you know things are about to get serious. Number 9. The Boy and the Beast.
Watching him copying his steps, I can guess what he's gonna do next.
What? No way!
An awesome fantasy film about a 9-year-old orphan boy by the name of Ren, who would prefer living on the streets of Tokyo as opposed to moving in and living with his distant relative. We follow Ren as he wanders through the streets of Tokyo, walking into the dark alleys and finding himself stumbling into an alternate universe that is filled with huge talking beasts. It's in this alternate universe called Jutengai that he comes across a giant bear-like warrior by the name of Kumatetsu that teaches him fighting skills, taking Ren on as an apprentice. With great core chemistry between this boy and this beast, we see them train, eat, and live together. But as Ren turns 16, he finds himself being dragged into the human world and develops a relationship with a human girl in a brilliant tale of a young MC caught between two worlds, left with the decision of whether he's a human or a beast. Number 8. Tales of Vesperia, The First Strike. Set around 10 years after the Great War against the Demon Beasts, the empire that rules over the entire world relies on the massive use of air to keep the world running. We follow two young men, Yuri and Flynn, that have just joined up as the very prestigious and highly respected Imperial Knights. One day, the two knights are sent to the town of Caesartania, where a lot of strange activity has been reported regarding the huge influx of these disgustingly mutated beasts that could threaten the entire region. At the same time, we follow the Knight Supreme Commander and the naive princess as they are involved in a secretive power struggle in the capital city. The two Knights of Caesartania cannot expect any help from the major city, a brilliant film that has a lot in it for everybody. From a base level with awesome characters and a brilliant fight scenes to a bit more serious and heavy-handed political drama, The First Strike is a fantastic film from Vesperia. Number 7. Black Fox. We follow Rika Isurugi, having spent her life training in the way of the ninja with her grandfather, Hioe, trying her best to follow closely in the footsteps of her father, the esteemed researcher Alan. Her father's world has culminated in a set of cutting-edge drones equipped with artificial intelligence and incredible technical capabilities. But her father, Alan, plans to develop these drones for civilian use. But there are others who have far more sinister ideas in mind. On Rika's 16th birthday, things are forever changed when a paramilitary group raids the Isaragi house in search of drone technology, killing her father Alan and grandfather Hioe. Luckily, Rika manages to escape with the drones. Months pass and Rika is now an ordinary girl working as a private detective while sharing an apartment with another girl, Melissa. But when night falls, she puts on her grandfather's fox mask and mercilessly hunts down those responsible for the attack. With the anger she felt that day driving her forward, Rika will not rest until her family's killers receive the justice that they deserve. Number 6. Afro Samurai Movie. One of the slickest and most stylish anime series to be released, Afro Samurai was definitely a lot more popular amongst Western audiences, although it maintained strong Japanese roots. Growing from the creator's love of soul and hip-hop music and Americana, there really is nothing quite like Afro Samurai. Following the life of the Afro Samurai after the death of his father by a gunslinger when he was a child, Afro sets off as an adult on an epic quest to kill his father's murderer and get his vengeance. Filled with some awesome action scenes and is set in an interesting post-apocalyptic world, the Afro Samurai is a series that has seen insane levels of success as a manga, anime series, and this film starring Samuel L. Jackson. With a cool blend of a futuristic setting and some awesome sword fighting battles, it's hard to find any flaws with the Afro Samurai. Definitely check it out. You will not regret it. Number 5. Sword Art Online Movie, Ordinal Scale. Sword Art Online is one of the biggest modern anime series of all time, with a unique blend of adventure and science fiction, as well as some of the greatest waifus we have ever seen in an anime. The fantastic series has since created a number of awesome anime films, with many considering Ordinal Scale the greatest of them. Ordinal Scale is set in 2026, around 4 years after the infamous Sword Art Online incident and the core anime. We learn of a revolutionary new form of technology that has emerged, the Agma, a device that utilizes an augmented reality system. Unlike the virtual reality of the Nerve Gear and the Amusphere that we've seen before, it is perfectly safe and allows players to use it while they're conscious, creating an instant hit on the market. The most popular application for the Agma is the game Ordinal Scale, which immerses players in a fantasy role-playing game with player rankings and rewards. Following the new craze, Kirito's friends dive into the game, and despite his reservations about the system, Kirito eventually joins them. While at first it appears to be just fun and games, they soon find out that the game is not all that it seems. Number 4. The Garden of Sinners, whole series. Set across the 90s, this is a brilliant dark fantasy series of films that is quite unlike any other. With a brilliant manga and anime series as well, the whole Garden of Sinner film series is one that you do not want to miss out on. We follow Shiki Ryogi, a teenager that has been raised as a demon hunter with powerful special abilities. We also follow a close friend of hers as the two go on a number of supernatural adventures. Investigating cases with twists and turns will constantly have you second guessing. The Garden of Sinners film series will have you hooked from the very first scene. Number 3. Garo Movie, Divine Flame. As usual, Garo manages to deliver a fairly entertaining show to its audience. This movie takes off 4 years after the end of the previous series. We follow Leon, who has succeeded the name of Golden Knight, Garo, as he devotes himself to training a young Makai Knight for the next generation, alongside the awesome Prince Alfonso of the Valiante Kingdom. They then receive an order to exterminate the most beautiful horror in the world, which resides in a neighboring country, Vazelia. At the same time, a young Makai Knight for the next generation is kidnapped by an unknown person. Leon desperately follows them, only to find that he's surrounded by his enemies at a dead end. Furthermore, a Makai Knight Dario who was supposed to be missing for some time suddenly appears and rescues him. Under his guidance, Leon is led to the town where he meets up with a totally unexpected character. A great movie to watch for fans of the franchise and newcomers alike. One that you do not want to miss out on. Number 2. Fuse, Memoirs of a Huntress. This is the story of an energetic hunter girl named Hamaji, who moves from the mountains to the bustling city of Edo after the death of her grandfather. Hamaji is taken in by her older brother, who's also a hunter himself. Shortly after arriving, Hamaji is greeted with a rather gruesome sight of bleeding dogs' heads put on a display for the entire town to see. Taken aback by the display, she lashes out in horror. The citizens tease her a bit and then explain that they are fused, half dog and half human menaces that terrorize and murder the human residents of Edo. A hefty bounty is put on the heads of these fused, so every third-rate samurai across the city is after their heads for the money and the glory. The movie's story is an interesting yet rather simplistic tale, with an extremely vivid art and visual style. This is really detailed, colorful, and enjoyable anime film that you absolutely need to check out. Number 1. Vow in the Snow, Fate Kaleid Liner, Prisma Ilia. A brilliant film for any fan of the Fate Prisma series, but also a great watch for newcomers. Maybe just run through a quick catch-up before checking it out, because this is a seriously great anime film that you do not want to miss out on. Although this film is kind of like a flashback arc from the anime, it still does function as its very own thing. Follow the manga very closely with some fantastic animation and artwork. Picking up with Shiro Emiya left with the epic duty to save mankind, we learn that the world is dying and time is ticking, with Shiro needing to make some insane sacrifices, including his only family left, his sister. Shiro is left with the difficult decision of either being a hero or becoming the very evil he said he would destroy. An epic tale that is worthy of the Fate series.